It's Luke Howard Live!
Thank you very much, thank you, woo! Here we are again, happy as can be. Hello everybody, afternoon, welcome to Britain's brightest, best radio show. It's great to have your company today. It's Tuesday the 9th of February, and we're already 2 days into the week already, and I hope your week's going very well so far. My name's Luke Howard. I'm here every day, well, 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, from the time of 12:30 to 1:15, but of course it's recorded just before, and it comes out about 12:30, and then Fridays, of course, it is my best mate Michael Walker presenting his show, so, of course, because I gave them a little turn to present them. But going back to today's show then, we've got lots of things to look forward to, because I want to talk about things differently, okay? I want to cover different things, okay, on the show today. One of the pieces of news that I want to talk about on the show today is, well, about music stars. Now, they've been raising pressure over EU touring around the world. So, of course, Elton John, Ronan Keating, etc. So, and Colin Greenwood. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're also going to be talking about grocery shopping on the show as well. Because apparently Okudo is going to be changing for good, apparently, to a different name. So, what's good and bad about that? So, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I just want to get the main news out the way about COVID tests. Even though I'm having mine this week, I still want to talk a little bit more about that to get that over and done with on the show today. And then we can go away from that and talk about other things on the show. So I think we'll start talking about that. And National Day is today. Yeah, that's today, isn't it? Yeah. Where is it today? Well, I had a little research about it earlier on, and it came up with lots of great things. It's a safer internet day, apparently. Not in this country, but in the US. It's Pizza Day today. I do like a bit of pizza, but it's very, very nice, but it's good, very, especially if it's flavoured. So it's Pizza Day today. It's also Toothache Day today. So if you're listening when you've got a toothache, do let us know. But yeah, that's today. It's also Cut the Cord Day as well, which I've never heard of. It's also Bagel and Lox Day as well. So yeah, so there you go. I've never actually heard of any of those before, but that is today. So if you're celebrating any of those days, yeah, so enjoy if you are celebrating them. Okay, so let's get on to the news then from today. Oh, by the way, a lady called Anne Boleyn got in touch with the show to say, look, you are very, very funny. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that wonderful message. Where's Anne Boleyn from? She's from Tavistock in Devon. Well, that's all right. Well, thank you very much for that, Anne Boleyn, for getting in touch with the show. Very good name, Anne Boleyn. I like that name. Thank you for getting in touch in the show. Oh, and also, Jacob from Welling Garden City also got in touch with the show. And so did Anon. Anon? Is that her name? Yeah. They both got in touch from Welling Garden City, which is just up the road from here, to say, look, we listen to your show every single day, 4 days a week. Absolutely brilliant. And we listen to Michael's show on Friday. You don't listen to it yet because it starts this Friday, so you haven't listened to any of his shows. But he actually posted the show out last night. So if you'd like to listen to the show that we did yesterday, and also you've got the I Do My Neighbour's Garden show to listen to as well. Who calls the show I Do My Neighbour's Garden show? Well, that's available to listen to now on my Luke Howard show. You can listen to that. And also, Michael Walker Lives every Friday, so you can listen to that as well, which starts this week. So you can listen to that. Completely change of plan from this week onwards until this lockdown's been lifted. And then, of course, it's back to the Saturday mornings. But, yeah, so, yeah, but if you'd like to listen to what he's done... Oh, and he actually did I must say, he actually did a practice radio show last night. And if you want to listen to that, you could also find that on the Luke Howard show. Sorry, Michael Walker Live, which is also on our radio page as well. So do listen to those because they're very, very good. And I thoroughly enjoyed them when I played it back and listened to very good recordings. So do listen to that because it's absolutely amazing. So, okay, so let's get started with what's in the news today. I'm only going to talk about a little bit about some random news that's coming very randomly from today. So music stars, including Sir Elton John, Radiohead, they're all putting pressure on the government to resolve the problems around post-Brexit EU touring, apparently. But UK artists will face a red tape and also fears for visors to play in some EU countries. Elton John told The Guardian that even the Brexit Nicolators didn't care about musicians who don't actually think about them or weren't prepared, apparently. But Culture Minister Caroline Dingley said that the government had pushed the Sultan and the door was still open as well. She told MPs yesterday the government had put forward a very straightforward plan to allow musicians to travel without work permits, drafted in consultation with experts. Experts? What do they know? What do experts know from the UK to creative sectors? She also added that it was also to quit simply the EU rejected that proposal as well. Now, Brussels has previously urged the opposite, saying it was in fact the UK that turned down its offer, apparently. Miss Danridge, her name is, she said the EU proposal was actually part of wider package that was not consistent with the Maastricht commitment to take back control of their borders and not consistent in the idea of Brexit. Oh, Brexit, Brexit, Brexit. The majority of people in the country voting for Brexit, this, Brexit, that. Oh, I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear the B word. I tell you what, let's just call it the B word, okay? Oh, there we go. It's coming up again now. Her comments came after Elton said the UK's B word, negolators, and screwed up, and it was ancillary down to the British government to sort it out. But they also need to get back to the regulative as well. Meanwhile, radio, what they could do is still go to the concert, but actually film it, and then they could do like a Zoom call and everyone, or a Teams call, and everyone can just join in now. I think that's a very good thing that they could do. Whether they will do it or not, who knows? But meanwhile, Radiohead's Colin Greenwood, he said the government didn't actually do enough. They didn't do enough for the creative industries in Negalations as well. But like Hamburg and of course the Beatles, Europe was actually crucial to their growth as a band, and the Bassett, which also wrote in The Guardian as well. It was also allowed us all to see ourselves. It was to do with unheated from the UK roots, and to imagine as live in music they could actually reach audiences everywhere, where we all made enduring friendships, toured with musicians from Europe, and dive deep into its clubs, festivals, record stores, and of course music labels as well. Well, I never actually knew that, to be honest with you. Well, that's something, like I said to you lot, I learn something new every single day on this very show. It will also be playing in Europe, and it will also be, of course, like now, after Brexit, it will all be, after we all ask, sorry, I said it. I mean the B word. The B word. Also appointing the additional cost of currents and a custom document on a requirement as well. It also spoke to several old friends who had also years of experience in planning, apparently, of Radiohead tours. Is that true? Is that really true? Are you sure there? Are you really sure? Who does the research for this programme? I might have to have a word with the researcher about all this. But it will also be playing in Europe of Light Now. And it also spoke to several old friends. Greenwood concluded the addition of the UK music, which is going to be deprived as all. And it was also therefore time for the government to admit it didn't do enough for the creative industries during the Brexit negotiations, and to look to regulate on the provision of touring in Europe as well. Now, let's talk about Ronan Keating, who is a very famous Irish singer, of course. Boyzone he was in as well. He eschewed those settlements, arguing that post-B word, red tapes, would be devastating for the live music industry, and in particular for newer acts, apparently, as well. So, yeah, that sounds interesting. And they're all talking about grassroots upcoming artists. The former Boyzone star told a news programme yesterday that it's not so much about larger artists who already have back categories and its careers as well. Hang on a minute, I actually thought that Ronan Keating was actually on a Magic Breakfast, apparently, but I don't know if he was on there that day, but who knows. Now, to slap that one on them, it's also just going to be diverting for the industry, and they won't be able to go touring as well. Speaking in the House of Commons last week, Cultural Secretary, this is the Cultural Secretary. Who's the Cultural Secretary? We know who that is. It is, I'll tell you who it is, yeah. Oliver Dowden admitted to the barriers facing British musicians who want to tour on the EU were absorbed and self-defeating as well. Is that really true? He also said the situation could have been solved before the 1st of January and laid to blame with the EU. The EU's Brexit regulator Michael Barner, he said last month that the result was regulated by one of the inevitable consequences of Brexit, and also last month to Elton John, Liam Gallagher and Nicola Benditti were also among the 110 artists to actually sign an open letter to the government, which also declared performers have been similarly failed by new visa rules. Have we actually got a video of them talking? Yes, we have got a video. Listen to this.
The fundamental problem is that because of Brexit, to go and tour in Europe now, you have to fill out God knows how much paperwork. It's expensive. It takes a long time. And a lot of people don't have the wherewithal or the finances to do it. They're up against a brick wall. What we're trying to do is make this much easier and saying, listen, It'd be great if you can go to a place. We can make it much easier for you. We'll take away the record companies and other artists like myself should have a financial responsibility to make sure these young acts have a place in Europe to go to without too much problem. There's going to be a problem because it's Brexit. If the situation was like that in America and Britain, it would be a disaster beyond belief. I mean, you have to get a visa to go to America. That's always been the case, a work visa. But to have a work visa in Europe is a new kettle of fish. And it's a result of Britain voting for Brexit, which I didn't agree with. But it's part of the democratic process. It was voted for. This is the result of it. So let's start to try and do something about it. Well, Oliver Dowden was very positive in his comments to me. I'm quite confident, as of today, that we can work together. But we shall see. But I'm not going to sort of not lay the mantle down and say, well, I'm leaving it up to the government, because I don't think they can do it on their own. Hopefully things will soften, things will change. But at the moment, I would say that a visa-free thing is not on the cards. You know, Europe is such a huge market for musicians to play in, and it's a very loyal market. Once you're big in Germany, as they say, you can, and Finland, you can go there forever.
I actually got it wrong there. It was actually Visa instead of Visa. I do apologise there. You know what I'm like, everybody. I do get my words wrong. But Sir Elton John, he told a news programme they had felt very positive talking with Mr Dowden last week about what could be done, despite the matter having been previously swept under the carpet. But a Parliament hearing came as the result of a petition, apparently, by a petition by live music camera director Tim Breman, which has also reached more than 280,000 signatures, apparently, as I heard. Is that true? And also the freehold for the debate to consider by the Parliament is also 100,000 as well. Now, in his latest vlog, Brennan he worked on the European touring scene for more than 25 years. He said that he and many other professionals had now been left in an accommodating and harrowing situation ahead of the return of touring post-pandemic. Okay, well, let's leave that there then, shall we? Because I want to move on talking about another story now that's been in the news today. And it really sparked my eye when I read this, because it got to me as well. Well, not didn't get to me, but it made me think, oh my God, I must talk about that on the show, because a grocery landscape wide is going to be changing for good, apparently. Online supermarket Okado, is that how you say it? Okado, something like that. And also said that after a year in which the global pandemic forced many people to buy online for the very first time. The comments came as it reported a 35% jump in sales and over the past year as well, apparently. And it was also leading to rocketing demand, apparently, with the UK-based firm. Well, I never knew that. 21 years, apparently. 21 years old this year, apparently. And it loses, apparently, for 240,000.5 million, apparently, to 44 million. Is that even true, do we know? Well, there you go. The company also said that many customers were also saying that they were unlikely to revert to pre-crisis shopping habits. Well, there you go. But I'll go to Chief Executive Tim's journey. He said that he wanted to pay tribute to the remarkable work of their colleagues in extraordinarily challenging circumstances. Really? Really? Well, if that's true, it's got to be true. But lockdown has thrown up challenges for all supermarkets, apparently. Hang on, go back a bit. Where was we? Oh, yeah. Apparently, that's what it's done. And Okado itself has struggled to deliver, apparently, smoothly at all times. The firm which previously delivered for, of course, Waitrose, lovely, had to cancel some orders when its new partnership with Marks & Spencer's launched on the 1st of September last year, and angering customers, and people were astonished. They were absolutely mad, I tell you. They went absolutely mad, customers, I can tell you. They were going nuts. They didn't like it at all. The firm which previously delivered, of course, for them as well, but it moved, and it was most notable in the UK, but it had also been expanding around the world, spurred by demand for its advanced technology and robot-operated warehouses. It's also been tied up with Corrugated in the US, and also casinos in France, Ireland, and in Japan as well. And it's also planning 3 new warehouses in the UK this very year, which will also boost capacity by 40%. Is that even true, do we know? Is it 40%? Is it? It is 40%. Okay. Okado has been one of the best performing shares in the FTSE 100 in the past year, roughly doubling in value since last year in March, of course, because of lockdown. It's also in the perfect position to benefit from the restrictions put in place to control the COVID, with shoppers cramming in the online for deliveries in order to avoid a trip to the supermarket, of course, especially at this very weird time. The results for the 12 months to end of November is not including the most recent national lockdown, apparently in England, where grocery sales of up to 35% to 2.2 billion. But you might have to rethought that jump in sales will also have to set the shares up. But in fact, it was also down 4% in early trading. Investors have also looked past to headline sales in numbers numbers to see another pre-tax loss of that very year. 44 million. That is not surprising, though, is it? It's not really surprising in itself, but it's also share